I'm Yuzu, and today we're gonna talk about the legend of Chi. Um, I must say Chi is one of my favorite subjects. Uh, in a sense, we could say that it divides the Eastern and the Western thought. As is the world this magical place that can be affected without a touch, even, or is it a materialistic setting that we go by? Uh, so, to the existence of Chi, I don't have much of opinion on that, but I'm researching the Chi in my own way as uh, external phenomena. So, for example, when I'm spinning weapons, I'm feeling their energy and I'm using my body to orient with the object, to find ways to move that are perfect, and where, for example, I can use as small movement as possible to create uh, big forces when the weapons are rolling around me. Another ways that I'm interested about the Chi is what does it mean in the terms of consciousness or in the social interactions. Um, and through these means, I'm tracking down. Are we talking about something that's a product of imagination, or is it a real phenomena? But I must say, I've never met um, anybody who would actually have these kind of magical forces that, for example, they could affect the world over distance. So this is truly the legend. That is it true or not? And my take on it is that I don't care. So welcome. This is the Temple 2.0. It's a combat gameplay research facility, and uh, we use it to train any kind of skills. Many that has to do with being able to control, having control, and being able to move with other people around. That has to do things that has to do around fighting, yeah. But we're doing it from the standpoint of how to get along and how to find the best learning environments. So we're playing around with fundamentals of use of space, distance, uh, the angle of attack, and such. So we create games from them. So I would like to introduce now the process that I've been working with. So it's about finding the chi of me and the object, to be able to direct it and then also release it over distance with the, for example, use of knives as a form of knife throwing. So my goal with the weapons is to be able to let the weapons be my teachers and be able to move with them softly, so it makes sense from the terms of use of force. And then I do more advanced techniques like spinning without holding it with my hands. So I learn about how the staff wants to move, or other weapons, how to move with them. So then I use movement in space and circulation to create forces. And finally, I learn to direct those forces as a means of attack. So my ultimate goal is to understand the human body as a vessel that can move energy around. I mean, moving energy just means movement with something. So I'm a freestyle martial artist. So with all these weapons I have trained, and my goal is to understand them so deeply that I can do I mean, just to be able to use them by myself in a freestyle, use them in a battle, and master them basically. So I would like to now show my knife throwing technique. So basically, I show it first with the staff, and then I try pull it off with the knife. Okay. So with the staff, it goes along like this. It starts from the center, and I lift it up, turn my waist, and slide the staff so I can hit at the same time. And it's quite a hit because it can be done from a movement, so that I generate the force by moving around, and then I release it in the end. So let's see. I do it without the holding now. So it's about really generating the force and then being able to direct it. So now with the knife. These are some of my favorites. They are old school throwing knives from Cold Steel. They're like 10 years old. They used to have ropes here and everything, but they got torn down. So now my idea with the knives is that I could have knives on my belt, let's say 10 knives like this, and I could use the rotation of my body to generate the force from where by the second law of can't remember what's the actual name, but the continuum of the movement, I can release the generated force into a direction. So over a decade I've been developing this technique that resembles a disc throwing, but as means of knife throwing. So that would mean to be able to effectively predefine the amount of spin and to throw accuracy. So that's my take on the Legend of Chi. Give me a couple years and I will nail it down. So the end game is to be able to throw knives from both hands with very high hits per minute onto a target, let's say over at least over distances like 10 meters. So let's see. It was quite cool. And now let's see, left hand, back side. Whee! So eventually I will do that with shitloads of knives, and it's gonna be just casting how do you say, flock of knives, and we're building some badass armors, so then eventually we can even deal with the sharp objects, and we can make it safe to catch them from the air. So that's one thing that we're working on. Very nice to share with you, and see you on another time. Bye.